following 4 Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Yo, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing this week? I am here with the one and only Alpha. I am K-Double.
Oh, yes.
And you are listening to the Cheap Pop Podcast. I'm hard at work as well, y'all, on the new intro for us. Almost got it wrapped up. We just got to do some vocal work here in the next week or so. And hopefully by next week we'll have the new intro. So
It's going to be shiny.
Yep.
It'll be great.
But anyway. So, as y'all know, we always open the show with a little bit of talk about, the comic book, the movie, the TV world. And as I've explained multiple times while on this show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the show that I've been currently binging during our lovely little quarantine time here. And I came to a conclusion today while watching Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I know this is a bold statement. It's personal opinion. I prologue it with that. But I feel I can back it up. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, as far as I'm concerned, is the best written comic book television show season I have ever seen. Now, mind you, this is me saying this after having watched all of the seasons of The Flash, all of the seasons of Supergirl, all of the seasons, the only season of Batwoman, all of the seasons of Arrow in the past 2 months. In the past 2-3 months. So, yeah. But mainly because, I was explaining this to Alpha off air, you get so many different storylines in one, and I mean complete storylines. It's not like it's a bunch of half storylines that gets halfway through and all of a sudden they just drop it and move on to something else. No, complete storylines. If you really want to dig deep, you have the entire Jeffrey Mace storyline. The false inhuman director of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was a storyline all within itself. You have the May Coulson love affair storyline. Right? Now, mind you, everything that I'm mentioning right now are minor storylines within other storylines. Really, the season's broken down into the first 8 episodes, which the central focus of the show is the Darkhold, which is the book that teaches the people how to basically live forever or create matter out of nothing. Ghost Rider's uncle, who was tied to the Darkhold, who became the guy, I forget the name of the character in the books, but he becomes this dude who can literally create matter out of nothing. He can just think about it and it creates it right there in his hand. Right?
OP as fuck.
Right. So you have that whole storyline that happens, and all of that surrounding around Daisy's storyline with her running from S.H.I.E.L.D. and not wanting to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all this, and then it ends up slowly but surely bringing them all together. And you get the conclusion to that storyline when Ghost Rider and the guy that could create matter, Eli, disappear. Okay? Then you come back and you're starting this brand new arc now, because that arc's over. And all the little stories within that arc are still kind of around a little bit, but the major stories in that arc are done. Then you get this little 4 episode. This is what I was explaining to him off air majorly, is that you get this little mini storyline that's solely surrounding the lifelike model decoys, the LMDs. And the scientist, the mad scientist that created them, and did all that, and that kind of comes to a head when Ada gets caught trying to steal the Darkhold, so on and so forth. Like, yeah, you get a wrap up to that storyline. Then you start what ends up being the major storyline for the rest of the entire season, which is the storyline involving the LMDs and friggin' LMDs, Ada, and the Construct, where they place everybody in this virtual world that's so real that they can't tell the difference. And it's hilarious because it's a backwards world where Coulson never crushed Hydra because Coulson was never a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra ends up taking over. And so, like, everybody's a member of Hydra. Like, instead of being a member of S.H.I.E.L.D., May's a member of Hydra, Ward's a member of Hydra, Daisy's a member of Hydra. Like, except she's not Daisy, she's Sky. Like, yeah.
So without the existence of Philip Coulson, Hydra took over the entirety of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. Basically, S.H.I.E.L.D. just doesn't exist. And so, like, yeah.
Right.
Man, and so like it's just another deep storyline, but it made me come to the realization that my brain itself, literally, until I rewatched it right now, remembered those as all separate seasons.
It was just all crammed into one season. So now you're watching it like, wait, all this shit is converging at once, not all separately like I had remembered.
Right, but you get this almost semblance of closure to every one of the storylines as you're watching the season and going through it. And so it leads me to make that bold statement that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4 is one of the greatest written comic book TV series seasons I've ever seen.
I'll take that. Personally, for me, my number one season of any show will always be The Punisher. Punisher season 1. I don't even quite know why, but season 1 of Punisher is fire as shit, and I've seen it like 3 or 4 times now, continuously.
Can respect that 100%. Like I can't I can't argue that one is better than the other. That's why I say it's my personal. I make the statement that for me it is the greatest one done, and hence the reasons why. Now, does that mean that I haven't seen other?
Subjective, not objective.
Exactly. So, like, I loved Punisher season 1. I loved Punisher season 2. I actually thought that Punisher season 2 wasn't necessarily better than 1, but it built very well off of season 1. It did a great job. It did a very good job of season
1. Exactly. So, and I was having a talk with someone though, like, really, when you put all those Netflix Marvel shows up against each other and next to each other, it is almost disheartening how, like, Iron Fist doesn't stack up to the rest.
Yeah.
And as much as I do love Iron Fist and the character of Danny Rand, it's hard to really pinpoint why that one feels so much less than the rest of them. Like,
no,
Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have their own very specific little niche. Luke Cage especially, but
no, I feel you
set those all alongside Iron Fist, something just doesn't feel right. And I've talked to a bunch of people about that, and it's the same opinion, And
it's almost, I hate to say it like this, but it almost feels like they should have done what would be considered kind of a test run by having Danny Rand kind of show up in various episodes of the other shows as Iron Fist, have him fight alongside the other guys a couple of times, see kind of how people are responding to the character, then developed a whatchamacallit. Or just not hire the showrunners that they hired for the first season, who kind of did. Okay, I compare it to this. You watched Heroes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you watched all 4 seasons.
Not all 4 seasons, but I've seen it. Yes.
Okay. Well, okay.
I know vaguely enough how it goes.
Heroes season 1 was amazing. Well written, very well done. Save the cheerleader, save the world was like one of the most popular phrases in the world, or in the U.S. for the time of season 1. Great show, right? Season 2, very well written, very well done, so on and so forth. About early season 3, there was a writer's strike. A lot of people don't remember that. There was a writer's strike, and a lot of the professional writers and almost the entire writing staff for NBC's The Heroes was on strike. And so you'll kind of notice if you watch Heroes in season 3, things kind of get funky. Like everything seems to be plotting along and going along, and and kind of foreshadowing things in the future, etc. And they're going along, and then all of a sudden they just things just start turning left or turning left on you, and you just never quite know what's going on. Okay, shit don't make no sense. But then at the beginning of season 4, the original writers come back. So pretty much the first 4 or 5 episodes of season 4 is the old writers of Heroes trying to make the shit that the scab writers for Heroes fucked up make sense.
They had the fucking J.J. Abrams and Brian Johnson.
Right. And so for me, that's what I kind of feel happened between Iron Fist season 1 and Iron Fist season 2. Is I kind of feel like they found the right showrunners for season 2, but those showrunners spent a good portion of the season trying to clean up the mess that was season 1 storyline wise.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it was that it felt a little bit more disconnected watching the Iron Fist show. Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have their connections.
Yeah.
And then you have Punisher, who showed up in Daredevil, like you just said, he showed up before he even had his own show, and we saw it in the middle of his story. And so, yeah, maybe if Iron Fist felt more like connected to the rest of those shows, like all the rest of them did, it would be a little bit different.
Like they tried to kind of wedge him in there with the Defenders storyline, but he worked in that setting, but not necessarily in his own show.
Yeah.
So,
because I know people who preach that Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Daredevil and Punisher are some of the best shows on all of TV.
Yeah.
But I ask them if they watch Iron Fist. No, what's that?
Yeah, a lot. Well, here's another major talking point. A lot of people were turned off because the main actor that played the main character was white, and Iron Fist has always been an Asian monk.
Oh, he hasn't?
I thought in the comic books he was Asian.
No, do you know what? Do you know like the story of Iron Fist?
I know.
I'm not like trying to like
no.
feel stupid or anything. I'm just
I
don't want to sound conceited or anything.
Yeah, no. This is basically what I heard the rumblings when the show was being made. That there were a lot of people who were upset about the fact that the man that they got to play him in the show was white, and that they didn't. That was some of the backlash that was going around media wise. Now, whether or not any of that was true, I didn't do the research on. I'll be honest with you. I was just like, I liked it, so I never really looked into why other people didn't.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
The story of Danny Rand was that he was a kid that grew up in New York, I believe, like every superhero story, of course. And his family was super, super rich, and they took some little like hike expedition of some type to the Himalayas, to some remote snowy mountaintop where they were probably going to die. And his father was killed first, and then his mother, and he was left alone at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Where he managed to accidentally get transported to the mystical land of Kunlun, then where he was trained in the arts of being a monk in the Iron Fist and all that crap. And then he came back, and that's where our story starts. If you remember, he comes back to New York, and he's like, "I own this building," and they're like, "No, you're not." And he gets escorted out, because nobody believes that he's Danny Rand because Danny Rand died like 30 years ago in a Himalayan hiking accident. It's about that's the humor of the character, that you have this blue-eyed American blonde white boy being raised by Tibetan mountain monks. So now he has like Tibetan mountain monk mannerisms, and he's blue-haired blonde-eyed white boy.
Okay.
That's the whole thing.
I did not know that. Okay. Then I retract my previous statement.
I can see why someone like not knowing too much about it would go in with that sort of mindset, though.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. It's not like fucking Iron Fist is the most popular Marvel character in the world, you know?
All right.
You good?
All right. So,
good?
Yeah, I'm good. I want to say, okay, so Iron Fist, and then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. led to Iron. Oh, okay, so this week's shows. Flash was actually really, 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 really good this week. Very deep episode, especially the ending almost had me in tears. So long story short, Iris is trapped in this prism dimension. And there's this other Iris, and I talked about this on the last week when I was talking about they had flash forwarded to this week's episode, and Barry was saying like Flash Iris isn't Iris, you know, because she threw him out the house. So he finally confronts her in this episode, and it's hilarious because at first Cecile, who's the empath, she developed powers, she became an empath. She doesn't believe Barry. And they end up locking Barry up in the hole. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, like, Cecile sees some stuff with Iris that kind of disturbs her, and so she goes back and she's like, Barry, go, that's not Iris. Like, go save her. And there's this deep like whole fight because Barry tells her like, I know who you are, like, you know, and they end up fighting, and basically, like, Barry reaches out verbally to, like, the little bit of Iris. He's like, there has to be a little bit of Iris in you. Like, we laughed together, we laid together, we hung together, like, you know, like, there's got to be a little bit of Iris in you. And, like, he talked to the prism demon or whatever it was that this bitch was controlling that looked like Iris. And he convinced her to basically, like, it was funny. It was kind of a combination of things. Barry was talking to her and getting her to kind of back off. On the other side of in the Prism universe, Iris was talking to the woman, pissing her off, knowing that they're all connected with each other, and it would drive, you know, it would help out Barry. So needless to say, they end up there's this whole scene at the end where Barry's sitting in front of this mirror. Right, and like he knows that Iris is on the other side of the mirror in the prism dimension, and he's like giving this speech to the mirror, and like Iris can't see him, but basically Iris is giving almost the exact same speech on the other side, and they're basically like vowing like to get back to each other. And then the last scene right before they go to credits is a split screen with Barry and Iris both touching like the little wall in front of them, like basically saying, I'm gonna make it back home to you. And man, it brought me to tears, man. Love between them two is like forever love, man. You hope to find that.
Go, man, cry.
Exactly. So, but it made for a very good episode. It makes me wonder what's gonna happen with next week, because like I guess according to the previews for next week, Godspeed is going to show up in the Flash universe for now the second time, but a lot of years earlier than he did before. Because remember, the last time we saw Godspeed, he was in the Flash forward to Nora's life.
Right.
From last season of Flash. That was the last time we saw Godspeed. So they're bringing him back again for next episode. Oh, and they unsuccessfully tried to turn on and generate, because you know I told you last time they're trying to generate a fault They're trying to generate a speed force. They're trying to create a speed force where their first attempt at the experiment failed. So I'm assuming at some point, probably next episode they'll figure it out and get it working, and Barry will get his speed back.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So that was that. Legends of Tomorrow was actually a very, very well done episode. The episode kind of bounces around. It has a whole little storyline going on with Rory and his daughter, and it also has a storyline going on with Astra and Hell releasing demons, onto the earth and stuff like that. But the main storyline that I liked was two things. First and foremost, for the first time, we see the television DC Arrowverse version of Enchantress.
Ooh.
Okay, for people who don't remember Enchantress was in the Suicide Squad movie. She was actually the main villain in the Suicide Squad movie. And anybody who's read the comic book knows that Enchantress has jumped between being a hero, an anti-hero, and a villain multiple times.
Million and a half times.
But I particularly like this version of Enchantress because instead of turning into whatever the fuck she turned into in fucking whatever fuck she turned into in Suicide Squad, she turns into this fine black woman. I say fine with a capital F. But the tightest thing about it was not only that, but the tightest thing about it was she literally takes. Okay, so I've told you guys that this season of Legends, they're looking for the three rings of the loom of fate, so that they can recreate fate and bring some people back to life and shit like that. Basically, it's kind of like the Dragon Balls. Okay. Well, they're finally finding the third ring. Enchantress had the third ring, but she had put a spell on it, and this spell was so damn dope, man. This spell was so damn dope. Basically, the spell made it so if you were thinking about looking for the item, it was invisible to you. So as long as it was on your mind that you were looking for it, it wouldn't show up. So they go through this whole episode, it's Zarya and John Constantine in this netherworld where they're trying to find this damn ring, but because they're trying to find the damn ring, they can't find the damn ring. And it takes Constantine damn near till the end of the episode to figure that out, like, oh, you sneaky little bastard, Enchantress. Like, because basically, them and all these other spirits come looking for the ring, and the ring's literally sitting in the lobby of this little hotel thing, like, right out in the open on this table. But because everybody's looking at it, whenever they look at where it's at, they don't see nothing but table.
I like that.
It was like literally, I was like, "Ooh, there's so many things I'd put that." There's so many things I'd put that on. People come looking for my shit, they just can't find it.
What happens when you trying to find it though? Are you immune?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how that would work. Like, that's the part of it I didn't figure out. But
is Enchantress immune? Does she like always know where it's at?
I think she does because she's the musician who casts the spell. So
okay.
But overall, great episode. I give both episodes A+ for this week. I'm gonna say So yeah, definitely telling people to tune in. Like, it's worth it.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, what else we got?
I don't know. You said you had something. You didn't have an Alpha's Editions, but you had something else?
No, I don't. No? I do not.
Well, as of Monday, it's been announced that us Star Wars geeks will officially be allowed to watch the entire 9-movie series on Disney Plus for free. That's right.
I already went and nabbed my physical copy of Rise of Skywalker already.
Yes.
So I'm 2 weeks early to the party.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker will be available on Disney Plus as of May 4th. It's actually coming like 2 months earlier than they were going to release it on the Disney Plus. So for you Disney Plus users out there, Don't worry, your ability to be able to stream all 9 Star Wars movies is coming within the next, actually tomorrow. So you gotta remember this airs on Sunday, so as of tomorrow,
oh yeah,
when you're listening to this, you guys will have the ability to watch all 9 Star Wars movies, or 11 or 12 if you want to add in
on May 4th. That's funny.
Yeah, they're doing it on May 4th, exactly.
Didn't even notice that. I have gotten into one of my moods and just literally watched the entirety of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Wow.
Why the fuck not?
yeah. I can understand you there.
And it is literally as perfect as I remember. Like from movies 1 to 5. Dead Man's Chest still absolutely bangs. You best believe the final moment when Jack jumps into the mouth of the Kraken. Still perfect. Even though I saw that shit for the first time when I was like 3 or 4. Absolutely still a banger.
Like, wee!
Exactly. And now that I'm old enough to actually understand like all of the jokes in it, like you ever do that? Like, you ever watch older movies and your kid and it's like, damn, that's a morbid ass joke that you actually get now.
Oh, bro, like
that's half of the movie for me.
The first time I watched The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, which I'm probably going to be watching sometime within the next day or so. When the first time I watched it over the age of 17, it was a whole different movie. I was like, oh,
the experience.
Wow, this is wow, okay, cool. But yeah. That movie's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or those movies were pretty good. I think I'm finally going to, next time my daughter comes up, which should be next week and stays for a week, I think I'm finally going to binge watch the Harry Potter series with her. I've seen a couple of parts of a couple of movies, but I've never really sat down and watched the entire Harry Potter series.
I absolutely implore you to. Absolutely. Never mind, there is one more thing we can talk about. Did you hear who they want to direct the new live-action Hercules movie?
No.
It's going to be the Russo brothers.
Really?
Yeah. Handing that to them. I could care less what happens in that movie as long as I get Phil.
Yeah.
As long as I get Danny DeVito as Phil. That's the only way I'll take it. Any other way, I'm not. You don't get my money.
You don't get nope. Well, I could definitely say that that's something that I wouldn't mind going to see.
Oh yeah, I look forward to it. And
go ahead.
I think I've also heard that they want Jon Favreau to have some type of input on it too.
Nice.
I'm not sure.
Hey, after his work with the first couple of Iron Man movies, that man's pretty good.
Honestly, no, everything he touches is absolute gold.
Yeah.
Like the thing that I like least that he put out was the live action Lion King movie, and even then, that was pretty damn good. Like everything he touches is wow.
People take this as an insult, but I say it's not. I've always said I like it for what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't the super best movie ever made, live action remake that's ever been made, but it was a good movie for what it was. Same thing with the Aladdin live action remake. I could watch that movie again. It was good for what it was.
Personally, I feel like Aladdin was leagues above the live action Lion King. But I do feel like Lion King got the live action Aladdin. I feel like that was leagues above the live action Lion King. Yeah. But I enjoyed the Lion King enough, but I feel like it does not. It pales in comparison to the animated version. Right, put it that way.
Well, for me, I liked it. I liked them both. I liked the live action one because they tried their best to keep as many of the original songs intact and in their proper place in the movie. You know, that meant more to me than anything else. Like, because obviously they're not going to be able to make it look like the lions are specifically talking, even though they didn't do a bad job of that. You know, and they weren't necessarily going to be able to mimic every scene from the original Lion King. but I thought that they did a good job of making sure to hit all the key moments. And like I said, all of the key songs were in the right places. Only thing that I missed out on, and once again, this is something that couldn't be done in real life compared to animated, unless they wanted to use even more CG, was we didn't get the whole Nazi reference with Scar when he sang "Be Prepared."
Yeah, with all them lined up behind him, right?
Right. When when he gets to the crescendo of the song and he's climbing that rock, you see down at the bottom, it's the little hyenas and they're all marching in step, doing the Nazi salute.
Huh.
Go back and rewatch Lion King. Go back and rewatch the original animated Lion King. Yeah, like it's basically like a not Nazi, like it's not honoring Nazis or anything like that, but it's obviously showing like that's how evil Scar is that him and the hyenas are like Hitler and the Nazis.
It's comparable to that,
right?
Yeah.
And so like I thought that they lost a little bit of that with the live action, and I thought that was a very impactful moment in that particular movie. But I thought once again, overall, it was a good movie for what it was. But those are the only two live actions I've seen is Aladdin and Lion King. They have Lady and the Tramp. And,
really? That's like out?
Yeah, Lady and the Tramp is on Disney Plus.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
is the live action Mulan there too? Like I'm probably not going to watch it. I'm just asking out of curiosity.
Not yet, because I don't even believe the live action Mulan had hit the theaters yet.
I believe it already came out.
Had it?
Well, I believe so, yeah.
Well, let me look on Disney Plus then, and I'll see if they have it. I don't think so, though.
Do it. Yeah, I wouldn't expect. I'm just asking out of curiosity because I know that was not exactly well received.
Really? I didn't get to hear any of the reviews on it.
I remember I told you a while back they didn't plan on putting any of the original songs.
Right.
There was no Mushu.
There was no Mushu, yeah.
All types of not the same.
All right. Let's see. Animated studios, animated live action movies. Alice in Wonderland, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Lion King. I see Lion King. I see Aladdin. I do not see any. Let me hit search and see if it's on here. Mulan. They do not have the live action Mulan yet. They just have the animated one. And the sequel. So. Normally, it's funny to me that Disney has those types of restrictions. Like, for some odd reason, it takes up to 6 months to a year before it debuts. Like, I guess Disney is trying to maximize, getting the most out of it in the theaters and then getting the most out of selling it, as a DVD or a Blu-ray, and then put it on Disney Plus for the people with the subscription, But for me, it's why would I even care? I understand if I'm a collector. Like if you have all the other Star Wars movies and you want to buy Rise of Skywalker 2, I get that. You see what I'm saying? Like that makes sense. Or if you're collecting all the Star Wars movies, I get that. But if I have Disney Plus already, I'm just gonna wait for it to hit Disney Plus. Watch it whenever I feel like watching it. Same way I would if I had a DVD. There's a lot of stuff that I probably won't buy on DVD simply because it's on one of the streaming apps that I have. One of the many streaming apps that I have and I'm paying for.
No, the thing I really like about Disney Plus is that they don't go with the rule that Netflix and Hulu have, where they'll cycle out content in and out.
Yeah.
What is on Disney Plus is staying on Disney Plus, and the only three things that aren't on Disney Plus that got taken away are Home Alone 1 and 2, and Pirates of the Caribbean at Stranger Tides. Both of those were taken off the legacy deals, and they will be back. But those are the only 3 movies that have been taken off, and I believe will be taken off because the rest are on Disney Plus permanently.
And see, I like that idea. I like the idea of it being there permanently. You know, but I'm telling you, man, I don't know, man. As somebody, okay, look, I pay my $16.99 for my Netflix. I'm paying my $9.99, I think it is, for Amazon Prime, or $12 and $14.99, whatever it is, for Amazon Prime. But I'll be honest with you, I don't mind the fact of Amazon Prime now, because I get all the actual shipping for free and all that shit with the, and discounts and all that with Amazon. So I don't mind paying the extra for that. I should have done that a long time ago. I got Disney Plus now, mind you, because I also have ESPN streaming app, and I also have Hulu. You know, but I have the live TV version. I paid $2 a month for my Disney Plus. But in total, in total, I have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN, and I pay a total of about $35 a month for them.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, but I get to watch whatever I want, whenever I want, pretty much wherever I want.
You say no matter what, you have all that shit at your beck and call on pretty much any given platform at this point.
Pretty much. Like, I'm literally about to invest in a tablet next week, off of Geek, or actually I'm probably going to look on Amazon first and see how cheap I can get a tablet. But I'm looking at getting a tablet next, so that way I can have a little bit bigger of a screen to watch it on when I'm out and about.
Shit, dude, that's not even a bad idea.
You know, so, but and my whole thing is, okay, so I said all of that to say this. Now HBO's got a fucking thing that's coming out, and it kind of sucks. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of The Big Bang Theory. Now, I could buy every season of The Big Bang Theory on Amazon Prime, on Prime Video, for a total of maybe I think it's $19.99 for every season after the first season, and the first season is $10. So it's a total of 12 seasons, so that'd be $230 I would spend total if I was to buy every single season of The Big Bang Theory. Now, I got to decide if I want to go on ahead and just spend that over time, because, you know what I'm saying, I can buy a $10 season here, you know, then wait a couple paychecks and buy another $20 season, and wait a couple more paychecks and buy another $20 season, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually, over time, own all of them. You know, but yeah, I just, The Big Bang Theory is a center point. I was gonna do CBS All Access because of Picard and Big Bang Theory, but I don't know. But then HBO Max has The Big Bang Theory and all the HBO movies and everything. So it's just like, man, it's confusing. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to end up investing in HBO Max. I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy the seasons over time on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that might be a good idea to do that. Otherwise, it's just another stack on top of the rest, you know?
Mm-hmm. You know, I already got enough streaming sites. Shit, I spend half my day flipping between streaming sites. Oh, I'll watch a couple of episodes of this, a couple episodes of Roseanne, a couple episodes of Leverage. Then I'll switch over to Netflix, watch a couple of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, a couple of that 70s show. Then I'll jump over to Hulu, watch some live TV, then maybe watch some How I Met Your Mother or something like that. Like, I'm all over the place.
Exactly. What's wrong with that, though?
Not a damn thing.
Good ass media.
Yeah. But it is, understand, guys, it is costly to do it. It's not cheap. It's not cheap to do it, but it's worth having all of it, you know. I have so much television for my daughter when she wants to watch shit, it's not even funny. So, all right. We got anything else to cover?
We got something to do, right? No, sir. We can just go straight into the second half.
All right, so let's get to this podcast promo break, and we'll be back right here on the Cheap Pop Podcast. You're listening to the Cheap Pop Podcast right here on the 4Aces Presents Radio Network. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you may find your favorite podcasts.
Interruption in progress. Now hijacking into ANS 2.0 immersion rig. Now simulating the Amazing Nerd Show. Featuring comics.
And Batman's like, you're safe here and everything, but the Joker all of a sudden pulls out a gun and shoots himself.
Movies.
People fight with lightsabers. What the hell do you want? I mean, in every one of these movies, there's a lightsaber battle.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna rewatch it a million times.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, give me something more.
Wrestling.
That would be awesome. Oh my god, just a monster. Fans would be like, holy, what the hell's going on? What happened to Jericho?
Horror.
It starts off like any other like home invasion type of story, and then it just goes crazy.
And more.
Hey, this is Christian.
Hey, this is Dan.
And we are the Amazing Nerd Show.
Make sure to download us on all your favorite podcast platforms.
So, what's up? Steve Fingerstyles here, the host of the podcast, spelled DA, of course. Tune in each and every week to hear what pisses me off, what angers me, what I make fun of, and of course, my crazy rants. I also have incompetent co-hosts, cool guests, and a silent producer that sucks. So what more do you need from a podcast? You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and the Pod Bros Network. Peace.
From the galactic depths of the comic book universe comes the ghosts of the stratosphere, ready to galvanize and energize your mind with the latest of comic book news and reviews. And why are you stopping me? Yes, that's much better. Hi, this is Andy Larson for Ghosts of the Stratosphere. Join me every week along with my co-hosts Rob Stewart and Chad Smith, as well as a cavalcade of fantastic comic book guests, as we dish out heaping helpings of the greatest and latest of comic book news and reviews. New shows posted every Tuesday with bonus shows every first Friday of the month. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher under Ghosts of the Stratosphere, as well as on our website, www.gotstratosphere.com. Hope to see you soon, folks.
Oh, open me up.
You're good to go.
Oh, well, welcome to the wrestling side, y'all. I'm gonna open you up this time, and we're gonna dig straight into Raw. And Raw opened with a 6-man tag, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Between Zelina Vega's boys and Apollo Crews, Rey Mysterio, and Aleister Black.
Yes, sir.
For what it's worth, I'm actually kind of enjoying this little heel stable that Zelina Vega has going on. At first, I didn't like it. I hate the idea of just like grabbing a bunch of heels and throwing them into a stable haphazardly. But the team of the little stable of Andrade, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory has kind of grown on me, especially Theory.
Yep.
Nothing to say about any of that?
What's up?
You got anything on that?
Yeah, man. Like I'm definitely. Here's the only negative thing I'll say, and I'll get it out the way right off the back. Zelina, baby, Zelina. What the fuck were you wearing this week on Raw, baby? What the fuck were those heels? Like, what the fuck was that shit? Like, I understand wanting to be taller, but baby, you look like a newborn baby calf trying to walk in those things. Like, just wear something that fits next time, please. I don't know, but like, I don't know what the fuck that was that you was wearing, but it got a no from me. So, all right.
Embrace the smallness.
Exactly. It's part of your beauty, baby. It's part of your beauty, and you are a beautiful woman. And yes, I know I'm talking about who? Aleister Black's wife? I believe that's his wife.
Aleister Black.
I believe I'm talking about his wife, and it's okay. I'm not trying to pick a fight with you, brother. I'm just admiring the beauty that is your woman, and she is your woman, and I respect that. But she is beautiful. Okay, so
Aleister Black is the single human being I probably would not want to get kicked in the face by.
Yes.
What with breaking the fucking jaw of Lars Sullivan and all.
So, Okay, so that being said, no, I really am enjoying them as a heel stable. I am really be actually. What's funny is that once again, I think that once again this week's MVP Lounge led me to believe that they need to give MVP a stable. And no, the two white boys that they put with him, and no, I don't have an issue with the fact that they white. But when you had the opportunity to put Ricochet and Cedric Alexander with him, and I don't even know who these boys are that they didn't put him with now.
Do you don't remember Shane Thorne?
I remember Shane Thorne from this week's NXT.
I was going to say Shane Thorne. If you don't remember, he was a part of a group called TM61.
Oh yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah, he was one half of that, and his boy got released last year. I don't know when, and I'm honestly blanking on his name. It was so hard to remember for me. But since then, everybody's been talking about, what are they going to do with Shane Thorne?
Yeah.
And apparently this is it.
But it's just like, I don't know, like, I guess they needed a mouthpiece, and I guess this is giving MVP a stable. But like I said, I would have put Cedric Alexander and Ricochet with him. And then, like I said, I would have slowly but surely given him, like, like some of the top, like, black athletes you got in there, slowly but surely, like to where they all ended up forming a stable. And people can sit there and say, "Oh, that would be racist, putting all the black guys together. Why all the black guys got to form a stable?" It's not just that all the black guys got to form a stable. It's the specific black guys you choose to form that stable. And then, like I said, you could even throw Aleister Black in it.
Like I genuinely feel like there's a handful of people that wouldn't benefit from it, but kind of need it. Like, I feel like with where Lashley is at right now, I feel like Lashley needs that sort of oomph, that story, that push in any way, shape, or form, that reason to get him somewhere.
Right, the MVP, like I said, MVP can create himself a stable. Lashley could be his guy that goes after the heavyweight championship. Then you give him somebody like who could we give him to go after a mid-Carter title?
All right. Okay,
let's build that stable. I forgot who we said last week.
I would love the idea of Apollo.
Yeah, okay, that could work.
Like, despite what we saw this week, I personally think, like, Apollo needs something more of just give him anything.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I'll be honest with you, it's also quite interesting what they did with Apollo this week. Like the fact that they had him, pin Andrade in the whatchamacallit match, in the 6-man match, and then lose to Andrade basically on giving up on the on the one-on-one match.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, it made no sense to me.
Yeah, they've always dropped the ball with Apollo. They don't really have a clear plan with him. There have been these times where they'll sort of push him like this and then stop with it. So I'm curious as to see if this will actually go anywhere, because I really hope so, because Apollo is really talented.
Yeah, he is. And so, like, and like I said, you give him to somebody like MVP as a mouthpiece. Now, mind you, all these people that I'm mentioning, if you remember, none of them are necessarily too awe-inspiring on the mic.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying? But MVP could be that dude.
Especially now that MVP is getting older and older, it's clear that he's going to have to use the character to shine through.
Exactly. And so MVP could be that dude. And you just give him a stable of, like you said, Lashley. We could go with Apollo Crews. You give him. I still think, like I said, I still stand by Ricochet and whatchamacallit. If not,
Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, and Cedric Alexander. I would never say the Street Profits. I know there's a lot of people who be like, oh, well, what about Street Profits? You could throw Street Profits are good on their own. Street Profits can cut a promo.
I like Street Profits as faces for a little bit longer. I love the idea of heel Street Profits, but
Maybe
it definitely would be the time to.
Maybe you could play a storyline down the road where Alexander and Ricochet turn on MVP, and then like he comes out and cuts a promo about how his pockets are so deep, you know what I'm saying? Like he can sign anybody to his team, and then out come the Street Profits.
Exactly.
You know, then you get the heel turn for the Street Profits, the shock and all. Exactly. You know, so like I'm just saying, like MVP needs a stable, like period. Like I think he would be an amazing like leader of a stable. Like I think he would be similar to what The Rock was to the Nation, because the Nation of Domination was cool before, you know, Rocky Johnson joined them, but when The Rock became a part of the Nation of Domination, that's when they really took off.
Exactly. When he became part of it and they gave him a mic.
Exactly.
When it took off.
And I think MVP is still good enough on the mic that he could be that dude. That if you gave him a stable, he could elevate some young talent to the next level. And even some older heads.
I think he could easily. I think MVP is talented enough as a character and on the mic to do that without even fucking thinking.
Right.
But moving forward, though, we're going to use this match to bridge off into another topic.
Okay.
But we had a scheduled match planned in the form of Asuka versus Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax.
Yeah, I was looking forward to
and that didn't. I really was too. And if you couldn't tell, that didn't exactly go as planned. The match didn't even get to start, actually. And Nia Jax just sort of ended up fucking ragdolling everyone around like they do with Nia.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, there's a current problem with that now, right? When set in the perspective of especially people like Kairi Sane, there's a lot of hearsay that Nia Jax is too rough, and people are being very vocal about the disdain for that.
Yeah.
And so my question is, what would you do about that? Given the idea of now that Nia Jax is clearly a problem in the ring, what's the solution?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think we can sit here and just be like, oh, just fucking fire her.
No, but because like I told you, I told you when we were discussing it a little bit off air. I believe that there's an anger problem going on here, and it's not like an anger issue. Like, you know, like she's got an anger issue. No, not like that. But like she's angry about something. Maybe there was a push that was promised to her, or something that was promised to her that she didn't get when she came back. Maybe WWE did some fucked up things to her, like in the process of her trying to come back, that have pissed her off. And unfortunately, the women's division of WWE is feeling the brunt of it.
Yeah.
You know,
personally. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
These smaller girls can't handle that. You know, they there's not really much they can do to defend themselves against someone that big. You know, but at the end of the day, I would love, if she needs some anger to work out, I would love to see a feud between her and Shayna Baszler.
I would personally love that. It's clear that Shayna can definitely physically keep up.
Yep.
And I feel like Nia's best feuds are with the people that she can definitely, that can take the brunt of that damage.
Right.
But personally, I feel like if there is any action that needs to be taken here, I think it should be sending Nia back to developmental like they did with Big Show that long ago, you know?
Yeah. And shit, it actually wouldn't look out of place considering we just saw Charlotte Flair basically, I don't want to say demote, because I think all of this happening is also a part of the image that they tried to portray in Survivor Series, that NXT is not necessarily developmental, but just a third brand in the WWE moniker.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I think Charlotte going back there kind of fits that mold. So Nia going back there, though we all know it would be for her own good, you know, to work on some shit before she comes back, or, you know, before she comes back over to Raw or SmackDown. We both know it would be for her to work, or we would all know that it was for her to work on something. And really, in all reality, she's just making a lateral move. You know, it's not a step down, it's not a step back, it's just a lateral move.
Exactly. I think that with the style that which they hold NXT to, or at very least like have her do some live shows, because Nia Jax did go through NXT, if you remember.
Yeah.
She was there to begin with. I think sending her back, having her do some live shows, even if you're putting her back in the same light that like Fandango is at, where he's just putting people over and he's working like that, I'll take that.
Yep.
I don't see a problem with that either. But as a whole, I think like everybody's screaming, "Oh, just fucking fire her immediately." It's like, yeah, she's injured people. Yeah, you have Becky's broken face, and now whatever happened to Kyrie is a shining example. But Nia Jax has shown that at very least she's useful in a wrestling environment. It'd probably be a bad idea to just drop her like that. If not for her skill, then at least for her lineage. Because
can I comment right quick?
And go for it, please.
Oh yeah, like she's a big bitch. What do you expect? When a big bitch is tossing people around, sometimes people get hurt. It don't matter. This is the one aspect of wrestling that people just don't seem to get sometimes. Yes, are there certain things Nia could do to better protect her opponent? And should she do them? Yes, I agree. She should. And something should be done to either figure out why she's doing it the way she's doing it, or possibly send her back to development so she can learn not to do it like that anymore. Because evidently she didn't have this issue a while back, because they felt good enough about her to push her and make her, SmackDown Women's or Raw Women's Champion at one point. So evidently she hasn't always worked like this. So it's just a matter of getting her back to where she was before. Maybe WWE brought her back too soon, and she don't really want to be out there in the first place.
Maybe.
But at the end of the day, you don't fire somebody like Nia Jax, but also at the same time you help her work to where she can get to where she needs to be as far as being able to be safe working in the ring again, or just do what most people would do if an employee goes out and the employee proves to not necessarily be ready to go back to doing their work in a safe environment and in a safe manner. You sit the employee until they are.
Exactly.
You brought her back.
Going back to what you said, like this is a combat sport by name.
Yep.
People are going to get hurt regardless, and it's a matter of keeping that to a minimum as best as you can, because this is a predetermined thing.
Exactly.
Of course, everybody knows how, or at least someone knows how this is going to go back there. It is a matter of working safe, but it's also like this shit happens.
And people got to understand, like, once again, it's just like, okay, let's when the rumor came out, or when the thing came out about people complaining about Randy Orton working stiff. When those rumors finally hit the webways, I had already heard about that. You know what I'm saying? That's what gave the validity to those articles in that rumor. Was I'd already heard a lot of people complain, or some people complain about Randy Orton working really stiff and it being difficult to work in the ring with him. I've never heard that about Nia Jax before. So it's not that I'm doubting the stories, it's just that I'm saying that if it is going on, it's a new thing. It's not something that it's not something that Nia Jax has been known for, throughout her life, or throughout her wrestling career.
With the exception of what happened between her and Becky, I think. But was that the first time she's injured someone? I believe so.
I want to say, yeah. I want to say I haven't heard about her doing anybody else.
Well, give me a quick sec.
All right.
Anyways, getting away off of that, we did see a return this week, though.
Is that so?
In the form of one Jinder Mahal.
Okay.
We saw a return to in-ring action from Jinder Mahal in his match with Akira Tozawa, which I do have a problem with in another way, in that you have Akira Tozawa in NXT winning matches for the Cruiserweight Championship, but every time this poor man shows up on Raw,
He's getting killed.
He is being used to wipe the fucking floor, essentially. Yeah. And this was no exception. And I don't know. I've never felt too strongly about Jinder Mahal. I hope that they can find something with him. I feel like there's untapped potential, but I feel like maybe his little partnership with the Singh brothers should finally be done with. What do you think?
Thank God, yes, please.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to see that go. I'm ready to see that be done with. For what it's worth, I like them. They did some funny stuff, like when Randy Orton chucked one of them over the announce table and they folded like a fucking lawn chair, and Randy Orton's face of sheer like, whoops.
My bad.
Was one of the funniest fucking things of 2017.
But all right. Yeah, Jinder Mahal was definitely a surprise, really. Like, I didn't expect to see him wrestle this week. Like, it was just like, oh, Jinder Mahal's back. I like it. Let's handle it. And he did good, but they stuck him with a nobody, and I want to see him in the ring with people his size that can go with him.
I agree. And the same goes for the tag match later on, where Ricochet and Alexander fought. I completely forget the name. Do you remember?
No, it was two no-name. It was two guys that aren't really no-name, but that are no-name.
Yeah, of course, Ricochet and Alexander walked out with the win. And honestly, I'm a little bit tired of people being jobbed out on the main roster. We saw Lashley annihilate someone. We saw Jinder Mahal destroy Tozawa, and then we saw this, and it was like, come on.
Well, they won, and then
some real action.
Yeah, no, and then they won, and then right after that, you get the whatchamacallit, the MVP segment.
Yeah. And I really, really hope they just put them in a cohesive fucking group.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know about you, but like I adore MVP's ring gear. Like, I adored his ring gear way back in, like, 2006. But now that he's got, like, the Punisher logo on his gear, just good. But
I still love his, whatchamacallit, I still love his intro music. I'm coming.
His theme slaps. I don't care what
Nobody can stop.
says.
It's like, yeah, baby.
You can tell me I'm coming. I'm here to do my thing. I love that shit. And then, I believe all else that we saw that night was in the form of a contract signing, right?
Yeah. Between Drew McIntyre
and Seth Rollins. Yep.
Yeah.
And as it is, Seth Rollins is just so fucking good as a heel. I think it is his rightful place.
Yeah. The fact that he could say those lines without smiling kills me.
Right? Rollins does some shit, though. I feel like every time they turn him face, something bad happens.
Yeah.
And then they turn him heel, and it's utter fucking gold. Like, his heel run in 2015, you remember that?
Yeah. That was the year that he won the title at the Triple Threat match when he was working with the Authority for a little bit.
Exactly. And it was fucking great. That's when he had J&J Security, when he had, was that Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had them. That shit banged. Would you like to dip into AEW?
Sure. Can I start out by letting down a bunch of AEW hardcore people?
Please.
Dear AEW hardcore people, love y'all to death for your hardcore feelings towards pro wrestling. But Chris Jericho is not the second coming of anybody, and his commentary really isn't as good as y'all try to make it out to be. I can already hear 90% of y'all going, but it's better than anything WWE's got right now. In your opinion, idiot. In your opinion. It's really very simple to me. Like, I like Jericho. He has his funny moments when I'm sitting there listening to him on AEW. Just like silly shit that he'll say. It's just like, what the fuck? And don't get me wrong, the what is it called? The Bubbly Bunch segment from this week was pretty damn cool, especially with Vicky Guerrero. That was pretty damn cool. And they had Fluffy involved and Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. Like, that was pretty cool.
Did not expect Vicky Guerrero above all else. Like,
exactly.
The rest of them, I was like, oh, that's cool. Then Vicky Guerrero came on. I was like, wait, what the hell is this?
I love her little laugh. Vicky killing me.
She knows just how to be fucking horrible on the screen, bro.
Yep. So, but overall, like, Jericho's commentary has been alright. It hasn't been bad. I'm not saying it's bad, like, by any stretch of the imagination. But it hasn't been anything to write home about either. He's had his funny moments.
You know what it reminds me of? Like, almost purely. Do you remember when Austin Aries was injured on 205 Live and they let him do commentary?
Yeah.
Like, that's what it just reminds me of. Like, yeah, like, Austin Aries was good at it, but don't sit here and try and tell me that Austin Aries should stay there.
Yeah, no. They're like, give this man a set of headphones. I'm glad you have an opinion. It's about all I can say.
Noted, but strongly ignored.
Exactly. But I do, like I said, I like Jericho as a talker, and all these people out here like, okay, look, y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, different people look at it different ways, but the back and forth between Jericho and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson when Jericho debuted finally in WWF was one of the best promo segments, like, ever written. Both of them going back and forth, throwing their catchphrases at each other, pure gold. Jericho hasn't really been the same since he switched over to the List of Jericho character, at least with his promos. Some of them, he's been real hit or miss. Some of them have been good. Some of them have been None of them have been bad. But some of them have been good. Some of them have been
Don't get me wrong. We've had our moments where we sit here and we praise Jericho out the ass. Jericho is good. And I love Jericho, and I always will. No matter where he goes, I will follow his products and watch that shit.
Oh, yeah.
But I personally feel like Jericho's best work is behind him.
Yes.
I feel like his shining matches, his best promos, his best this, his best that, I feel like it is in his past, either when he was corporate-suited Jericho or when he was the Ayatollah of rock and roll. Yeah, exactly. And he had the little treetop bun on the top of his head.
Yeah.
But he's great. He's fucking wonderful. But don't sit here and tell me he should stay on commentary. Like, no. Get his ass in the ring while you still fucking can, you fools.
Yeah. Now,
when he can't be in the ring, then you can put him on the commentary team.
There you go. I also had an issue, or not issue, but I kind of liked it, but it was kind of... I'm going to ask this of Tony Khan and the boys. Can we please call this the crescendo and the finish and say that no more Darby Allin versus Cody Rhodes matches? I'm just kind of over that matchup. Like, it seems like I watched the same season or the same match 3 times over. And maybe with little tweaks of a difference.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love both of them to no fucking end. But the dynamic of Darby Allin, the nobody, and Cody Rhodes, the head of AEW, yeah, we've seen it enough.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, so let this last one be the last one. That's what I asked. Let this last one be the last one. I thought that the Lance Archer Dustin Rhodes match was pretty good.
Yeah. I feel like Lance Archer is really, really coming into his own this last year or so. Like, I didn't care about him too much, but now that he had that small run with the IWGP US title and he started using the claw, he's really coming to his own, in my opinion, especially, like, remembering Vance Archer when he was in WWE CW.
Uh-oh. Hold on here. I gotta see where they found this at. Where is this at? Sorry, looking at the clearing a Facebook notification and came across my thing real quick. From Squared Circle, the headline reads: "The governor of Florida did not say sporting events to a 25% capacity is allowed next week. Wrestling media is screwed up, and now it's front page news when it's not true." Uh-oh.
Well, we got it live.
Yep, there you go. We'll see what happens. But anyway, yeah, like and I thought both matches. I'm sorry, dude. I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna say it straight from the heart. Britt Baker is possibly the worst possible heel ever in sports. I'm not a huge fan of Candice LeRae's new character, and she's even better than Britt Baker. Like,
yeah, fucking no.
I'm like, you would think with your husband being Tommaso Ciampa, you would be a good heel. Or Adam Cole, sorry. You would be a good heel. Both of them are good heels.
Adam Cole's a great fucking heel.
You would think, having that much experience behind you, you'd be a good heel, but she's just not. She's just not.
Yeah, I feel like AEW has a lot of really good heels. She's not one of them. All right. Were you able to catch? Right, you were able to catch all of NXT except for the final portion, right?
Well, yeah, just except for like the final 10-15 minutes of the final match, or not 10-15, last 5 minutes of the final match. Like, I just didn't see the finish of the Damian Priestley Keith Lee main event.
Oh, okay.
I saw the Mia Yim Charlotte Flair match. I saw Io Shirai come out in very broken Englishly try to tell Charlotte Flair that she's going to see her next week.
Yeah.
Well,
she beats Mia Yim clean, and they're like, "Oh, Charlotte's not burying anyone, guys." What do you call that? What do you call that thing?
That I don't know. I don't know. I'm still stuck on the fact that Charlotte has the belt, but I don't know.
Yeah, that alone is still fucking horrible. But how do you feel about one Dexter Lumis?
That dude was a weird character to me, but interesting. Like, he kind of comes out, does his thing. He kind of reminds me of is early Undertaker without Paul Bearer. Just kind of comes out, does his thing, leaves. Doesn't really talk a lot, doesn't cut a lot of promos, just is kind of there, kicks ass, goes home.
I feel it. So, I liked him in the tournament where they scooped up all those PWG guys a while back, but I don't know what the plan is with Dexter Lumis, and I'm fucking confused.
He sat there cradling that dude's head for a long time. No.
Exactly. Everyone in NXT is just pouring personality, and then you have
Dexter
fucking dude with the Mr. Smith mustache out here doing senton bombs. I think he's okay though.
Yeah,
I'm with it. He's no damn. What's the guy they scooped up from PWG where he has "thick boy" written across his fucking his unitard? Bronson Reed. He's not Bronson Reed. Reed. I'll take him.
All right. Oh man.
But Keith Lee, of course, retained his championship, and quite frankly, I am adoring every single second of Keith Lee's reign with that belt.
Bask in his glory.
He is an absolute fucking star, and even with Damian Priest's slow-ish style, fucking Punishment Martinez, it was a really good match.
Well, I say me and I was talking to my ex last night while I was watching it, and Keith Lee's intro came on, and I started singing along with it, and she's like, What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, it's Keith Lee." Like, I'm singing his interest music. She was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, and if there was a crowd there right now, all you'd be hearing is, "Oh, bask in His glory." Oh, she's like,
there's a crowd, they'd be
"Oh,
doing it
okay."
too.
I'm like, we
Smooth
all must bask
operator.
in His glory. Oh man, yeah. I just hope
Cannot
they
wait.
continue the momentum with Keith Lee going into the main roster whenever he makes it there.
Yeah, I really hope they don't mess that up. I really hope they don't.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else in wrestling that you want to talk about?
No, not really. That should be it
feel
for us this week then. We keep it a short episode since a couple of weeks ago was a long episode. But guys, we did not forget about the main event. Well, I forgot about the main event. He just didn't get a chance to watch it. But we will watch the main event sometime between now and next week, and we'll talk about that. We're possibly going to try to, within the next couple of weeks, watch the first 2 episodes of Dark Side of the Ring. So we're going to be talking about that coming up here soon. It's the Chris Benoit story, so that should be real good.
Absolutely.
And hopefully I'm going to get on fairly soon, binge watching seasons of, which I'll have a lot of time over the next couple of weeks, been watching seasons of Mr. Robot, so we can start talking about that, starting from season 1 through the series finale. So that's what y'all got coming up, not to mention the fact that we should have later on tonight, go back and listen to last week's episode, me and Duel doing West Coast Bias on Sunday, but this week on Sunday you should have Now versus Then coming up, Brick House from earlier today, Inspire Radio, Dirty Talk 101 and Now versus Then tomorrow on Monday, and then we also have Thursday we have Miss Toy. Friday night we have probably another episode of KD5P, being that there's no sports going on. Thinking about doing a 90s rock melody. And then, then tune back into us again on Sunday.
Sweet. You want me to close it out with the usual Alpha Angle?
Hand it up. Take it off, boss. Go for it.
All right. I usually, you know how it goes. I bring you a wrestler that I love, and I'm not sure if I've brought this person on before. I'm pretty sure I did, but I don't think I'm happy with the way I did it. So I'm just going to drop and say my wrestler of the week is one Samoa Joe. And I've been watching Samoa Joe for a long time. I'm talking mohawks and tribal paint on the face. I really like Samoa Joe, and I always have. Like, something about his absolute presence is what draws me to Joe. Like, people will be like, "Oh, Joe's just fat," and it's like, no, Joe's just a big Samoan through and through.
Yeah, man, if you ever been around a Samoan, you know Joe's not fat. Like, the Samoan dudes are just thick as fuck. And most of what's underneath that skin is muscle. You know, exactly. I was like, and most of what's under Joe's skin is muscle. Like, understand that. I doubt that Joe's body mass index is that high.
Exactly. His muscle to fat ratio is important.
Right.
But Joe touching on MMA, Joe just bringing everything he has. I feel like I've never watched a Samoa Joe match and been like, damn, that was horrible, save for one time. And that's not even talking about the triple threat match between him and Styles and Christopher Daniels.
Oh, my God. The match that, if you're a wrestling fan at all, you should have watched that match at some point during your lifetime.
That match.
Yeah.
But Joe's been around for at absolute least over 15 years now, and I feel like the whole time he's metamorphosized further and further into an even bigger badass.
Well, I'll say, okay, I can say at least 2 decades, because by the time I discovered Joe in 2004, 2005, when I discovered Joe, he had already been in the business for like 5, almost 10 years. So Joe's like in his late 30s, early 40s. So Joe's been doing this almost 30 years.
Exactly. The measure of like time that I use is that he would have graduated in the same wrestling class alongside Cena, Orton, Batista, and Lesnar.
Right.
So they are all in the same age group and wrestling class.
Right.
Even if Joe didn't quite graduate with them, he that was still his training. But yeah, I feel like Joe 100% deserves to stand among all of those men, even with how they've carved it out. Joe has done it completely differently, but still just as successfully. I feel like if you look at it, Batista isn't as respected as Joe.
No,
but
he's not.
Who objectively had more success.
But 90% of that is Batista's fault. Why he's not as respected as Joe.
Yeah.
You know, because of shit he's pulled. You know, especially since finding success for Guardians of the Galaxy and everything.
Yeah, but I mean, like, just in a wrestling sense, like, who's more respected between Joe and Batista, but somehow which one is more successful objectively?
Yeah. And Joe can go.
Exactly.
Joe can literally work in the ring with anybody, damn near, like you say, and make it a good match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Joe worked the shit out of that match with Lesnar.
Absolutely. Like, when it's all about Brock Lesnar selling too, because Brock Lesnar doesn't sell, but when he does sell, he sells his absolute cheeks off.
Oh, yeah.
But like those moments where it was Joe just coquina clutch with Lesnar red faced and mouth open, it was savage, and nothing hits differently than a good heel Joe promo.
Yep.
You could say whatever you want about his physicality or how he wrestles or his wrestling quality. I feel like no one can say anything on Joe's promo quality.
His mic work?
When Joe is exactly, you give a mic to Joe and he'll just fucking go.
Yep.
We always talk about the time that he had 5 people lined up and he shot shots at all of them while walking to the ring. and the best one where he was just like, Jeff, what are you doing here? AA is that way.
Yeah. One of my favorite Joe promos of all time is during the Joe AJ Styles feud. The Wendy promo is possibly one of the best promos I've seen Joe cut ever. You know,
Actually, like, I don't know about you, but I remember sitting there like this angle is horrible, but fuck was that promo good.
But and here's how high I put it. And for those of you who've listened to me since I was on the Raw Impact Unleashed, y'all understand exactly how high I put this promo. There's a promo with James Storm, right? And when he was a member of Beer Money in Impact, and he was going against Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at Christopher Daniels and goes, man, I'm going to get you out there. I'm going to punch you in your Twitter and I'm going to kick you in your Facebook. and it was just after that, it was just this montage of like one-liners exactly like that. Like mentioning social media this and social media that. And it was like possibly like, I'm like, A, how do you cut that promo without laughing like 50 times over? Like, because it's because of the stupid shit you're saying. But also, like, to not only be able to say it, but say it with anger. Like you really mad. And it was just like, man, if you look it up, I don't know what specifically to look up. I guess the keywords would be like James Storm. I forgot what Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels were called when they were in TNA.
Was that?
Or in Impact.
I don't remember the name, but I know you're talking about those.
Yeah.
Because Arian and Daniels have more or less spent their whole fucking careers together.
Oh, yeah. Man, and they're actually really nice guys. Like I said, we interviewed Frankie Kazarian for Raw Impact Unleashed one time. Really nice guy, really laid back. Met him in person a couple of times. Same thing with Christopher Daniels. Ran into him in person a couple of times when we were doing Raw Impact. And, yeah, they're really nice guys. Like, as long as you ain't acting out, they're really nice guys. And most wrestlers are.
Mm.
Most wrestlers in general are. As long as you aren't acting out, they're just really nice guys.
Yeah. Christopher Daniels especially, like, every time I've heard him talk, there's something about it that just seems very down-to-earth and genuine.
Yeah. I actually got to meet, I forget if it was Frankie or Frankie Kazarian or Christopher Daniels' son, when we were at this WrestleFest back in 2014. Down in Hayward, and we got to meet both of them because my friend had your boy Cole had hooked up with the owner of AEW, or BTW, and he allowed us to rent a table at WrestleFest, and we were there for the entire event. And so, like, after they cleared all the rest of the fans out, and here come Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels and Little Baby Boy, and I was just like, oh. And like I said, really nice guys. That was a crazy weekend, because that weekend we got to meet Papa Shango / The Godfather. He was really cool. I really got to sit and talk with Chris Masters. We also ran into Rock and Roll Express.
Ricky Morton and
yeah. We ran into both of them, but Morton actually came and like kicked it with us and partied and hung out in the room and shit, along with a couple of big time wrestling wrestlers.
That was cool.
Yeah, like that was a hell of a weekend. But really, like I said, every wrestler I've met, really nice guy. As long as you're not out there acting a fool, they're just cool cats. Funniest thing I remember from WrestleMania weekend is literally hanging out in front of a Wiener Schnitzel's, listening to Chris Daniels and Carlito make wiener jokes.
I've heard a lot of stories about Carlito too.
Yeah, I actually had
all around funny as shit.
Had a really cool conversation with him at a house party WrestleMania weekend, where he was discussing with me like some of the shit he went through, like traveling the world, some of the like discrimination, like we were just on the subject of like discrimination and racism and shit like that. And he was just telling me stories about some shit that he had experienced throughout the years, just sitting there chit chatting. Of course, we were all like most of us were pretty much drunk or like chilling, but I don't think he was drinking at all. But he's, like I said, once again, real down to earth dude. That night we also met. She was known as Victoria. And I can't remember her real name. I used to know it by heart.
Oh, shit.
She was known as Victoria in Impact and in WWE for a little bit.
Yeah, she had the psycho gimmick, and she came out to Tata. Right.
Right. Yeah, we met her at that house party too.
That was cool.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
My homeboy set us up for a lot of fun shit in the wrestling world, of opportunities to meet certain people that I never would have gotten had we not been doing that show. So,
yeah, man, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, we will. We will. Don't worry about it. It just takes time.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so that's enough reminiscing. It's been a great show. We're gonna close it out for this week. Hopefully, like I said, we keep this up. We'll be back with you again next week. Discussion more Flash, WWE. Like I said, we'll see if the live events next week at WWE actually have fans or not. Who knows? We got one report that said that
swerve on the swerve.
Yeah, it's like we got one report that says it's not gonna happen. We got another report that said it is. So we'll see which report turns out to be right.
Bro.
But you got any last words for the folks?
You know how it goes. My people, please be safe. Wash your ass out here in quarantine, please.